Hello everyone, Rich Hagan and Brian David Marshall bringing you all the scores on the doors after 8 rounds of day 1 here at Pro Tour Battle for Zendikar. BDM, how was day 1?
It was awesome. It was super exciting. We got to watch people draft. We got to really see the pick orders for Battle for Zendikar and how different they were for some of the different teams. And where do you pick Rolling Thunder versus Rares? Where do you pick Eldrazi Skyspawner versus, very interesting to watch these people sort of sift through these cards. Lots of very first pickable Rares in Limited, but not necessarily insurmountable obstacles to get over that, like the bomb rare problem that you see sometimes. Great Limited format. It was really fun to watch. And then Standard's been a really interesting mix of people who said, like, you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. And there's a couple of people who said, you know what? I can beat them.
Right, absolutely. Well, we begin. Why don't we take a look at our master scoreboard? Let's bring that up for you. Our overnight leaderboard begins with someone who said, I'm going to join them and beat them. And that's Eric Severson of the United States, because he's on Jeskai.
He's on Dark Jeskai. So playing in his 3rd Pro Tour. First Pro Tour of the last 3 seasons he's played in.
Wow.
And this is obviously by far his best start. Mm-hmm. And worked with a team, really found a deck, settled on Dark Jeskai, and said, you know what, I'm going to play this deck 15 hours a day against every possible matchup for a week. And you see the results there at the top of the standings.
Now, coming into that last round, which Severson ends up as the only 8-0, we could have seen 2 8-0s, and they could both have been from Brazil.
Yeah, absolutely. Paulo Victor Damarosa was playing Eric Severson. Also, he's playing like a red, kind of nearly mono red-green, a Tarka red deck. Mm-hmm. And we saw him, so he goes 7-1, but a great start for Paulo. Remember, Paulo had that kind of slumpish year and a half on the Pro Tour. Back half of last year was a monster. Mm-hmm. And you know what? He's past Tokyo and going into Yokohama right now as Godzilla. He's just stomping all over the place.
And you talked to him just at the end of the day there, and he seems so relaxed and comfortable within his own skin again. Great to see. Now, splitting the 2 Brazilians at the moment on tie breaks, because this is in tie break order. Another great story for one of your local players, Chris Calcano.
Christian Calcano, the King of the Hill. It's the first time we've actually had an end of day 1 King of the Hill without a perfect record. I believe it's always been 8-0 since we started doing this King of the Hill. But he found himself paired up in the last round against Guillermo Merjam, and Christian Calcano came out, and he has got possibly the most exciting deck we've seen so far in Standard. It is they're calling it Blue-Black Aristocrats, and it's an Antuco Husk, and it's Whirler Rogue, and it's Liliana, and it's wonderful. And every time I watch him play, he finds just the exact line to perfectly kill his opponent. I watched him play Martin Yuza earlier in the tournament. Martin's got Dragonlord Ojutai out. He sacrifices a Haven of the Dragonlord, gets back a Silumgar the Drifting Death, plays it, attacks, kills like 6 Thopter tokens with the attack. And Chris is like, okay, are you done? Because you're dead. He says it much more politely than that, but still has an Antuco Husk on the board, still has a zombie token on the board, plays a Whirler Rogue, makes it unblockable, sacks everything, gets in for 10 through the dragon, and Martin just sat there for like 5 minutes going, how could I have done? I'm dead.
Yeah, now that Calcano deck is proper box office. You won't see it again until tomorrow afternoon because it's draft again in the morning. But tomorrow afternoon, we'll get Calcano, maybe Oliver Tamaiko, in here, into the studio.
Yeah, Team Target, another new team to add to the sort of team landscape.
And they'll go through that deck for us. Great stuff. Now, some other ranked players in the top leaderboard here. Matt Sperling, number 24. Jacob Wilson is 7-1. You see there. And then as you go down, just such stacked names. Yuta Takahashi, Reed Duke, Hall of Famer Ben Rubin, Kenji Samura.
I was just going to say, can we talk about Hall of Famers?
You go right ahead.
Kenji Samura and Patrick Chapin, just rounding out the Hall of Famers. But Kenji Samura is, again, someone who was easily the most dominant player in the game for a number of years.
Right, absolutely.
And easy Hall of Fame induction. But since his Hall of Fame induction, he's retired. Wasn't playing the game at that point. Comes back, and for the last year or so, he's been coming back to every Pro Tour, and he's been more and more focused, and we're seeing that sort of like, kind of like the rust, get a little oil can here, a little oil can here. And, I would love to see a deep run from Kenji Samura on day 2.
Sure. Now, if we're talking Hall of Famers, just off the leaderboard, but still on the same mark, 6 and 2, Makihito Mihara of Japan is in 23rd place right now. And how about this, BDM? We have to go to the second sheet of the standings,
okay.
but that's only about tie breaks, because in 48th place, 6 and 2, and we hardly saw him today, John Finkel is right in the mix, because you know what? It looks to us like coming in to Sunday, 12 and 4 will likely get somebody into the top 8, and that isn't always true. It's a slightly smaller Pro Tour than we've had past few events. 12 and 4, you're very much alive. So all these 6-2s, you see them down there. Javier Dominguez, Matej Zatlkai, Brandon Burton, they all know, and his mum, will know that if they can go 6 and 2 again tomorrow.
Yeah. A very happy birthday for Brandon Burton. It's his birthday today.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, great job by him.
So there he is sitting at 6 and 2 in 19th place.
Yeah, so that's the state of play. 230 players will come back again tomorrow on 4 and 4 or better, and they will do 3 rounds of draft and then
5 rounds of standard, same decks that they've been playing. That's going to determine our top 8, and then the top 8's going to come back on Sunday.
All right. So, with the news that Eric Severson leads the way from 2 Brazilians and a host of some of the biggest names in the game, Hall of Famers aplenty. It's been a terrific day at the office, and we thought we'd work through the weekend just for you. So don't you dare miss out. We'll see you on Saturday morning here from Milwaukee.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Brian, Rich, bye. Oh, you're so